Any Green Party? Independence? Our Revolution? People's Independent Party? No? Okay, so a lot of y'all have a lot of different methodologies to achieve the exact same goal. So I see many of us, or many of you, passing out flyers, doing what you're doing, engaging people in the political process, because you believe that you have a great opportunity to do something that has been done before, and guess what? I agree with every single one of you. Now we're going to ask a more controversial question, and I want people to be just as honest and just as proud, and I will explain why. How many dim exit people do I have in the room? How many dim enter people do I have in the room? Guess what? I hate to break this to you. Both of you are right. Oh! Can you believe it? Because let me tell you why. In a place like California, why would they dim exit? There are already enough progressives in California to change the entire state. It's already happening. The establishment hates the Medicare for All bill. Be very clear about that. But guess what? It's going to pass anyways. However, if I'm in a place like Michigan, where Democrats are a little scarce, you kind of need every single Democrat you can get, right? I'm not going to enter to the 6 Democrats that are already there. Matter of fact, you need me more than I need you. So I'm out. It works in Michigan. What works for Michigan doesn't work for California. What works for California will work for North Carolina. But guess what? Through our differences and our different approaches, once again, we managed to unify behind the same message. That progressivism is ultimately our goal. Yes, sir? I am media, so obviously I don't sign any petition to back up any candidate. I'm not a candidate. I like candidates. I can't do parties. However, I always say, I agree with what you're doing. I agree with what you're doing. I agree. Why? Because at the end of the day, and this is something I firmly believe, it's not about the name behind the method. So the draft party, People's Independent Party. It doesn't matter because guess what? What we're doing when we break off into these factions that people think are so damning to our movement is we're creating new leaders, we're creating new networks, we're creating new methodologies of training, and we're bringing them whenever 2018 and 2020 comes together again. Because that is what we know where we came from. And although we may break off because our networks became different, we may have had some disagreements over time. Somebody voted for Hillary, things like that. Guess what? When the time comes, I have 100% faith that all the differences that we've established will eventually come back to benefit us in the long run. Now, I'm going to say something else. Trump supporters versus Hillary supporters versus the rest of us. Okay, I don't want to put the rest of us like we're better than them. But we're on a different plane. We're on a different plane. Okay? So, if you listen, once again, the differences will tell you how we can unify. When Trump supporters complain, most of the time, they're not talking about how much they love Trump. They say, you're not taking my guns, I want to protect my family, I hate Obamacare. They're not saying I hate Obama, they're legitimately saying I hate Obamacare. Because I know, I work in the medical insurance industry, they're paying $6,500 deductible per person in their family. Plus $1,200 a month. They're saying I hate the fact that I can't take care of my family. They hear the neoliberal side talking about money, ambition. In the South, I've lived in the North and the South. They just want to spend time with their family, do the job that they love to do, and not feel like they're considered rednecks because they love going outside and fishing and boating and doing the things that people in the South, they don't want to lose their lifestyle. And if you listen, because you may not agree with it, and that may be different from your life, but if you listen, you'll know what they want. You'll know what they're really asking for. That's how we unify. Because once you understand what's different between you and them and why you don't feel as strongly about that as they do, because then you can begin to bridge that gap. Now I have some truth bombs for you left people and progressives. I hate to break it to you all, but we suck at unifying. We're the worst ones. We are. Because we keep skipping a very necessary step. Okay? We are all problem children who were too smart in school. We were kicked out of all the cliques, okay? Nobody liked us. We were concerned about politics and stop disrespecting my friend, need to respect. And we had no friends. Yeah, you better clap, because I'm like, no, I had 2 friends. We listen to alternative music, we watch anime, that's what we do, okay? We were in debate. So you were any debaters out here? Any debaters? Yeah, we were in debate. It was like our own fraternity. We were closed off from society, but why? Because like myself, some of you were mixed. Like some of the other people in this room, English wasn't your first language. You were, there you go. You were the new kid in the classroom. You have a disability. You were black in the white district. You were white in the black district. So when you finally get around other like-minded people, it's an amazing feeling. But the problem is, we still have the issues that we've never dealt with while we were children or while we were developing that we've never addressed. And those issues end up consuming us so that we believe all of our issues are the most important issues in the world. And we fight. And we don't. If you don't agree with me, then you're a hillbot. Well, bro, I just said that Black Lives Matter and, but you really hear that. I'm sure all of you have experienced this. But you need to understand, just like our differences keep us apart, our differences are why we are all in this room together. Our differences are why we became progressives. And no matter and I know y'all gonna hate the fact that I don't care if they voted for Hillary. Because just because we believe the action was nefarious does not mean that their heart is the same. Amen. They were doing what they thought was best. But from their understanding of the situation, this is why education is so important. From their understanding of the situation, that was their best choice. Do I agree with it? No. But I understand, so now we can open up the dialogue to make sure that we all make the right choice next time. So stop letting our differences divide us when we know that the reason that we are here at this convention, at this summit, while we are in this room, while you're speaking to that black person beside you, the Latino person beside you, the Desi, the Arab beside you, different religions, different races, is because at one point we were all persecuted because of our differences and because of our disenfranchisement. And we all got tired of it. And we will get to each and every one of those issues. But before we can fix all the things that make us different, we have to realize the one thing that makes us the same, that we are all progressives. Thank you.
If anyone have any questions, I want you to ask some tough questions to Niko House. This is an opportunity to really, I'm really sick and tired of politicians that pretty much shy away from physical contact or psychological contact. So let's mix it up. Let's get into it. And if you have any questions, go. You, ma'am. I'm sorry, your name is?
Karen.
Karen?
Karen from Florida.
Great. Okay.
So, one issue that I've been having to tackle is in my county, which is majority white, and we have minorities, but they're obviously, right?
Hello? No, go. Hello.
There you go.
All right.
So hi, I'm Karen from Naples, Florida. So my sister and I overtook our Young Democrats party or group, and she's actually 15, so she's pretty young. My question is, how do you deal with people who want to assist your movement, especially because we deal with a lot of people that want to understand, the polymigra, because we have ICE works with our local sheriffs, and our sheriffs make $77 a day for every bed that's filled with an undocumented person, whether or not they're separating families or throwing kids in foster care or whatever. And so, how do you deal when it turns from assisting to taking advantage of to tokenism, like how, like, and sometimes I find myself in instances where like, I'm like, you know, I probably shouldn't do that, but then if you already committed yourself, you're not gonna look like.
I understand. No, it's, I think every that's a big conversation that we all have regularly, right? Co-opting and taking over the movement. You know, should a white person be allowed to speak at a Black Lives Matter rally? Things like that. It's an amazing question. So first, I would say the individual that may be doing this, or the group that may be doing this, find out what their intentions are. Genuinely ask them. Understand what they want to do and what they're trying to do, and then genuinely sit down with them and say, listen, I understand why you want to do this, but I think that it is important that we lead this movement in this particular instant for A, B, C, D, and E. Because our experiences, you know, are indicative of what's happening right now. And as much as you care, as much as you understand, I will never understand what it's like to wonder if I'm going to be deported the next day. You will never understand what it's like to get jumped by a cop on South Beach because you have 2 chains on. You would just, you know, I will never understand what it's like to be a woman. As much as I talk about, I'm like probably the most pro-woman. I'm a single mom and I love my mommy to death, okay? And no matter what, I tell people all the time, I can never speak for a woman as much as I would love to. And you just have to break it down from your perspective, because I can't tell you from your perspective. This is why this is important to us, and this is why it's important to use the movement, because it's not only important for like the optics, but it's important because you all need to know how to lead movements that afflict people who are disenfranchised in the same way that you are going forward. And cool, you may have more experience organizing because, let's be honest, you know, the white people have more experience organizing. It's just a fact. They have more resources. But you need to learn how to organize. And it's important going forward for your movement, no matter what it is, that you can take what you learn from that and move forward. That's it.
Can I add one thing? And this is kind of like from a mother's.
So speak up, see a little.
I have about 4 seasons. From a mother's perspective, and I hope this doesn't sound insulting to you. Trust your instincts and don't feel the need to apologize for your feelings. If someone is doing something that makes you uncomfortable, you address it the way you think you need to address it. Because in that situation, what you feel is what matters, not somebody who thinks they're helping.
Okay, so one more question you guys have for Niko. I know he's got to leave. We have a lot of other people are speaking. Okay.
Thank you. So good to be here. My name is Tom Wells. I happen to be running for U.S. Congress in District 3 of Florida. So did that.
What's up, Florida? Hey, South Florida.
I did that as an independent last year, in the last cycle. Got 12,000 votes, $1,000 expended. I talked, my market research consists of talking to 6,000 people, and 100 of them were Trump supporters, everyone I saw. So this gentleman spoke to Trump supporters. Further observations, they have children, they want them to grow up with an education, with a decent job. They are the same as us. They are our constituency. All we have to do is tell them that with respect. When they say, who did you vote for? I say, Jill Stein. Einsberg, Jill Stein. This turns out to be not only a moral decision, but also a strategic decision. So I have a foot up. The Democratic Party has not been able to find an establishment Dem to run against me because they have I have name recognition. They do not have a way to talk to the Trump supporters. We have the advantage. We can route them in every red district. My district is only 13 points. I feel like, God, this is too easy. Because the other thing that he did not say about Trump supporters is a third of them supported Bernie, but could not vote for a criminal. Commonwealths. Very complicated.
Can I say one thing real quick? So everybody, and just because we're dealing with this issue, and I think as a black man, I'm sorry, but I'm a good authority to speak on this, and I'm okay with that. Everybody has dealt with racism at some point, whether you're on the receiving end or a bystander, correct? How did that make you feel? Pretty pissed? Angry?
Yeah, I agree.
You almost feel like you're helpless? Right? I agree. Imagine how it makes me feel. I challenge you to understand what it is like to internally make the decision to not be racist anymore while we're dealing with the Trump supporter situation. Imagine your mother, your father, all of your friends, all of your traditions, everybody that you grew up with thought the exact same way as you and rejected you if you did not think the same way. Imagine having your kids not grow up with their grandfather and their grandmother, not being able to spend time with their family, never being able to have the same type of social events that families do, not meeting your best friend growing up because the guy or the girl is hateful. And then think if you could easily just say, I'm not going to be racist anymore. Politics is the exact same way. And I can tell you, I have a really good friend who's from Alabama, who's part of the Harrison family, who's one of the wealthiest families during their family went broke funding the Confederate Army. He cried to me because he was talking about how hard it was for him to tell his kids that he doesn't like his parents. So imagine. I know it sounds crazy, but let's be honest. The South's education system is not good. The people that they are around are products of their environment, just like I am a product of mine. The politics you are around, you are a product of your environment, just like all of us, man. Some of us weren't raised in progressive families. You had to break away. And for some, that is a lot harder than others. I know a lot of Republicans and conservatives and neoliberal families that said, when they said they were going with Bernie, they, well, you better get on the train, man. But some people was easier, some people was harder. But it's the exact same thing. And I want you to take that going forward when you're interacting with people and they want to behave and they're jumping because they're just reactionary and reacting off of emotion. You need to calm the conversation down. I do this a lot. Some of you probably did it to me. Message them, call them. Hey, you want to talk on the phone? You would be surprised how many times you can change someone by just taking 5 minutes, having a phone conversation, and creating that relationship. To basically understand from both of you all that we want the same things. Holy crap, I wouldn't have known from your post because Facebook and politics have become pop culture. So the popular things get shared, but the real issues never get discussed. So thank you all so much for having me.